Your problem child is your greatest gift. What if I gave you a permission slip that said, your job is to feel good? And what if I told you that the better you feel, the bigger impact you can make in the world? And in fact, that is the magical parenting strategy that we've all been searching for. Hey, I'm Heather Chauvin, wife, mother of 3 boys, former social worker, breadwinner, recovering hustler, and stage 4 cancer survivor. Beyond all of these titles and labels, I'm a human being just like you, attempting to navigate it all while feeling good. My goal on this show is to show you that you can live an energized, sustainable life both at home and at work. My attempt is to keep it real with stories, interviews, and random thoughts. This is not a business or career podcast, and it's not a parenting podcast. It's both and so much more. You will laugh, you will cry, and you may even get a little frustrated with the truth you've been hiding from yourself. I believe all human behavior is a language, whether it's through your children, your health, or your relationships. And when you learn to listen instead of react, we begin to understand what it truly means to feel alive and in control. It's time to ditch self-sacrifice and step into your brave zone. All right, everyone, I am back and really excited for today's podcast. I'm going to be reading from chapter 10 of my new book, Dying to be a Good Mother, and this is one of my favorite chapters in the book. I love teaching parents to understand themselves and their children's behavior on a deeper level. And if you're noticing that the quality of today's audio is a little bit different, I'm going to be radically honest with you and let you know I am recording this from under my scarf in a car while my husband drives. We are headed home from an event, or not an event, we got away for a few days, and I had to record a podcast. And so I did this for a few reasons. One, I'm all about progress, not perfection. I actually record 100% of my podcasts on my phone in my car, typically not while driving or while someone else is driving. But I also wanted to show you that, we have time. We have time, we have space, but often it's because of the thoughts that we're telling ourselves or the stories or perfectionism that gets in the way. So I hope that doesn't disturb you today, and if it does, I apologize. But I wanted to get this out to you, and I just think it's really, really important to have this conversation, but also for you to experience what is possible for you. So if you haven't already, head on over to dyingtobeagoodmother.com. That's the title of the book, dyingtobeagoodmother.com. And there's a button to download the 27-page workbook to the book yourself. You can download that. You can share it. You can start your own book club if you want. And then there's another button that will say pre-order the book. When you pre-order the book before March 7th or March 8th, so pre-orders are until midnight on March 7th, you can qualify for the pre-order bonuses. If you purchase one book, you will be gifted the audio version of the intro and chapter 1, along with a behind-the-scenes conversation that I had with my friend Rochelle Fredson. And her and I talked openly about my struggles writing this book, my challenges, who I had to become, what I had to overcome. I also talk about publishing, traditional publishing and hybrid publishing and my experience with it. And if you order 4 books, which is what I would be so incredibly grateful for, you can actually mail those. You can put 4 different, transactions, and just send each receipt to book@heatherchauvin.com to qualify for your gifts. And you will be gifted a free ticket to my online event, Align and Alive, and that's happening March 26th. Everything that I'm saying here, the details are on the page. So if you go to dyingtobeagoodmother.com, you're going to see a link that says pre-order here. Click on that link and scroll all the way down, and you will see 1 book and 4 books, and it shows you the pre-order bonuses there and how to get them. So again, thank you. And because I offer the podcast for free and I also keep it ad-free, if you've gained any value from this podcast ever, it means the world to me to pre-order your book now before March 8th, because as an author, this is gold for us to really help us boost our sales and visibility. So I appreciate you and thank you in advance. Okay, so chapter 10, I am actually reading from page 151. Your problem child is your greatest gift. What most of my clients are surprised to discover is that their problem child is also a guiding light pointing them towards their journey, the journey that they most need to undertake. That journey is the one I began when Logan was born. And also, we'll begin in this chapter to continue through the end of this book. It ultimately is about the journey to trust and value yourself, which is how you'll find the inner knowing and the clarity to transform your entire experience around parenting, as well as your relationship with yourself and your children. The paradox of motherhood. As mothers, we're unavoidably judged as parents and through other people's views of our children. The offhanded comments, the looks, and the helpful suggestions many come from family and friends and schools and neighbors. When we have a child who's different in some way, the pain of these judgments can feel especially acute. Too often they taint how we see our children, as well as how we see ourselves as mothers. When we get caught in this cycle of judgment, it's partly because we're consciously or unconsciously brought into the idea that there's a right way to parent. In that mindset, we may then forget to notice how many different and conflicting beliefs there are around what it means to be a good mother. Here's a list of just some of the beliefs around motherhood, often in contradiction, that I've encountered over the years, both as a mother and a coach. Our children should be perfect because naturally our parenting is too, or it should at least look or sound or seem that way. Parenting causes perpetual exhaustion, dirty hair days, bad hair days, body confidence issues, and endless feelings of overwhelm. It also creates the need for nonstop caffeine and, of course, wine o'clock. Parenting is hard, and if you don't complain about it or feel miserable, exhausted, and stressed out most of the time, then you're not one of the good moms. Yelling at your children is shameful, and admitting to it is even more so. Everyone yells at their children, and if you don't, you're not a real mom. It's the only way to get these pesky, entitled children to listen. Even raising your voice with your children is a form of abuse and something you should never do. If you have a problem child, or if your child is different in any way, that's embarrassing and also your fault as their parent. Even feeling like you have a problem child reflects poorly on you as a mother. You should love your children and be proud of them, not blame them. Everyone has a problem child. Get in line and join the club. That's parenting for you. You give your all and never get a break. Ladies, we can't win if we're trying to become someone else's idea of a good mother. The moment we satisfy one definition of good, we go against another. It's a lose-lose proposition. Also, our children are unique souls. They deserve to be parented according to their needs. Who could possibly assess your child's needs better than you? On a deeper level, we already know all of this, of course, but still, we overextend ourselves trying to be the kind of good mother we think we're supposed to be. Why do we do this? Why do we torture ourselves trying to meet expectations and standards that aren't even our own? All right, I could go on and on in this chapter, but today I really just wanted to bring attention that our definition of good and what good enough looks like and feels like for us is unique to us. And this is why I'm always talking about, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel when you're communicating with your children? How do you want to feel in your partnerships? How do you want to feel with your time? How do you want to feel with your energy? How do you want to feel in your mind and your body? And I also want you to know that this is a practice. This is not a one and done. And you have not failed because you've tried something and it didn't work the first time. Every single day, I'm constantly practicing, refining, showing up, pushing through resistance, sitting with myself, understanding when to push, when to relax. This is a journey. Our relationship with our children is just that. It is a relationship. It is not a career. It is just a relationship. It's one aspect of what makes us who we are. All of our relationships make us who we are. The challenging ones push us to become more of ourselves, to look deeper and to ask ourselves, why am I so triggered by this? What is this child showing me? And so today I wanted to show you that there is no perfect way to parent. And too often I will get women DMing me or sending me messages and sometimes coaching and saying, well, I've read this book and this book and this book and this book. And I'm like, but what resonates with you? What resonates with you? And often realize, just like any other industry, parenting has become an industry, right? Just like the fitness industry. And you're being marketed to around what is good and what is bad. And they prey on your fear. They prey on your fear. So when you push everything aside and you sit in silence and say, who do I want to be? What do I want my relationship to look like? And what is this child teaching me about the fear of judgment or the fear of embarrassment or the fear of rejection? And how can I not only show up for this child, but how can I show up for myself? All right. I want to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram at Heather Chauvin. Let me know what this bumpy in-car podcast sounded like to you. And thank you in advance for the pre-orders. They are open until March 7th. You can check those out at dyingtobeagoodmother.com. When you order four books, you get a complimentary link to Aligned and Alive that you can give out to anybody when you send your receipts to book, B-O-O-K, at heatherchauvin.com. When you email your receipts there, we will give you all of your pre-order bonuses. And that's it. All right. Talk soon.